Hello, everyone, and welcome to a quarterfinals cast of the Winter Cup 2022. I am your host and one of your casters, Opie Wrights. I'm here with my lovely co-caster, Mega Parsec.
Yes, hello everyone. We have some very exciting matches to cast today.
Oh yeah, exciting doesn't begin to cover it. When you get to the quarterfinals of any cup, really, the matches really start to heat up. You get a lot of exciting stuff, and one of the things I'm most excited for actually is the fact that we have a new name all the way in the quarterfinals. Our first match today is going to be Legorve Genine, well known, very strong player. I know that all too well, versus RAMS. I believe this is their RAMS' first competitive tournament, and they've made it to the quarterfinals, getting past Sauerkraut to do so.
Yeah, it's a very impressive showing from a player who's new to competitive. Yeah, C-Rams has came top of their group and then beat Sauerkraut in the bracket to get here. And so obviously, since he's new, we don't know a ton about him, but he has definitely done a lot of daily practice, as one could see through the Discord, and clearly it's working for him.
Yeah, the daily practice. Uh, this is someone I know is very interested in improving and learning about the game and studying their opponent because I've actually gotten requests from CRMs to like go over their sets and kind of give critique on what I think was good, what I think was bad, and I do that for people if they ask. So if you're ever interested in that, but that's not the point. Point is they are willing to learn and grind, and that's always a scary thing to have in a player.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this goes.
Yeah, and with that, I think we can head on into the first game where we have CRAMs starting. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's just real quick before I forget. Let's go over the draft. CRAMs wins the coin flip and then chooses to be player B, which means that CRAMs will pick second and then ban first. So Legorve chooses the Comfy Classics, which is your set with ballroom, balcony. We got Veranda in there, and Courtyard. Courtyard 4 of 7. There is 3 of 7 in other sets, but in this one it is 4 of 7. CRAMs chooses the swap block, which is going to be Tayen, Library, Gallery, and Aquarium. So CRAMs bans Tayen from their own set, actually. Legorve bans Gallery.
Not
Also,
particularly surprising. Legorve is quite vocal in his dislike of playing gallery.
yeah, I've had my issues with Gallery in the past. It just does sometimes feel so difficult to play on both Spy and Sniper. It's kind of weird because you like the stats bear out that Sniper is quite strongly favored on Gallery, but you don't feel that way when you're sniping Gallery. And when you feel a little bit out of control, that can lead, especially strong snipers who understand that feeling of being in control and don't like not being in control. I'm not surprised that Legorve does take that ban. Legorve then does something that is the most wonderful thing in the world, doubles ballroom, while CRM's doubles library. Because these are the quarterfinals, we do have doubles. That means it's going to be first to 9 in the set rather than first to 7, as it has been for the rest of the cup. So I'm loving the doubled ballroom, and I hope we get to see some really fun plays there. But first,
Yeah,
we got the Veranda.
indeed.
All right. Well, we have CRMs on the spy side. I kind of led us into this earlier, but then I forgot to stop and do the draft. So now we actually can start this CRMs on the spy side in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be seeing a lot of traditionally sniper sided maps in this, with Veranda available and Library double. And I am definitely curious to see how that plays out since Legorve is known for his extremely strong sniper.
Yeah, and the kind of more traditionally sniper favored venues, the the thought for a long time was that those are going to benefit the advantaged player, the player that is expected to do better. The underdog tends to want some more volatile venues, like balcony in there. Um, However, my personal take on it is that the stronger the sniper is, the less the advantage player has to like kind of prove their skill, right? Uh, Stuff like ballroom or Tayen or even aquarium. Although I have my own thoughts on aquarium. Um, these kind of like not necessarily volatile, but have a lot of opportunities for the spy. Those are where a stronger player's skill is really going to come out a lot of the time.
It's interesting. We see so far no progress from C-Rams. Innocent reject of a drink, no attempt to chase flirt just yet. So far, a very quiet Veranda game.
Yeah, pretty quiet here. Not even any flirt, which is just not great. I think at this point we are absolutely going to need a time ad. Legorve has one low light, two highlights, neither of which are us. So yeah, at this point, how you just need to time ad. We've spent over 2 minutes doing nothing.
Yeah, still not much going on
Oh,
here, and like
it's
you
a
can
cough.
definitely. Oh my, yeah, that's not good.
That's not good because we're gonna get at least a couple of extra lowlights out of the party here for Legorve, and still no progress. But now 7 lowlights instead of one. And one of those
Hmm.
lowlights was previously a highlight, and we even get a highlight. Oh, that's not fun for CRAMs.
Yeah, I think C-Rams is in a whole lot. It wasn't even a real contact. I'm not sure if the DA split or if it was a fake to begin with, but we have no progress and we are highlight for a hard tell that may have been caught.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with CRAMs here. Maybe there's some kind of. I don't know if you've ever heard. It goes by different names depending on what scene you're into, but you've like, for example, chess. Oh wow. Oh, okay. I'm interrupted in my analogy by the fact that Legorve just shot Cerams. I think
Yeah.
maybe for the bad path into statues was what decided it, but it does feel like Legorve was pretty on top of that cough.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. In some situations, you do see a case where, like, if the sniper doesn't catch a cough, they can get sort of flustered, perhaps tilted. But Gorf is a good enough sniper that you shouldn't be expecting that to happen. And it seems that the cough was even just outright caught, perhaps.
Yeah, that does seem to be his case. And let's move on to the next game, and I'll maybe finish my analogy. We have Legorve Genine on the spy side, playing as Wheels here. We'll get that game going in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Uh, as I was talking about, the if you follow chess at all, it's kind of the Magnus Carlsen effect, or we've called it previously the Cayley effect in Spy Party.
Ooh.
Oh, that's such
I'm
an
sorry to
underdog.
interrupt you, but we have an instant request. Toby takes a while to get to us, but we green purloin as soon as Toby arrives. And it is taken quickly as well, and it's not clear that it's been caught yet.
Yeah, Wheels is so good for these kind of like cheesy purloins because you often aren't very visible, and just by virtue of your height, it does seem a little strange to say that Wheels isn't very visible, one of the wider characters, by virtue of that wheelchair. But the Purloin can be so strong, especially during this time of chaos. Legorv is just putting on some huge pressure. We don't even have any lowlights here for it.
Yeah, it seems, I believe CRAMS has probably noticed it by now, but has no idea who has done it, so has chosen to not take any lowlights and just play as though it's any 4 of 7 Veranda, which is, Legorve still has to make stuff happen, but,
You don't really want to be playing
distinctly
any 4 of
possible.
7 Veranda. But oh wow, bug through
Ooh.
Duke there through the conversation, and Wheels bug, not always a lot of this being very great, but that scenario right there, lots of moving bodies around, and it's just so unexpected. This looks so bad for CRAMs.
Yeah, and one thing about Wheels Bug, it's quite an obvious animation, but it is the quickest bug in the game. So, that may have come into play here. And certainly it seems like we have two hard tells past the sniper, and uh, it's Legorv's game to lose at this point.
Yeah. 100% on the flirt. 2 minutes left on the clock. We still even have contact to do. There's, you still need to get away with a little bit more, inspects or even after the contact, inspects, prints, one of those, perhaps even a mint transfer. But I would be surprised to see Legorve going for another hardtail at this point.
Yeah, I would probably expect inspect if I think Legorv is probably aware that both the bug and the purloin are clean. And if
Very.
C-Rams is focusing on mission counting, there would be no reason for C-Rams to shoot Legorv for finishing inspects.
Yeah, absolutely. Contact down. 1 minute, 20 seconds left on the clock. We do need to find whatever our last mission is going to be. But again, we're just not that big of a suspect at all.
Yeah, too late for fingerprints at this point unless Legorv has some lined up, so it looks like we are going in for inspect, possibly swap. I would be okay, yeah, we are.
It's a
Okay.
swap, and is it checked
It's
on? That's
not
the
being
question.
checked. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and Legorve, what a nice game.
Yeah. It's interesting. There was no rotation to look at that. I think C Ram's feeling that wheels couldn't possibly have been done yet, so there was no need to check the swap urgently.
Yeah, and I mean, this is kind of what we expect out of Legorve. Just such a strong player, and CRAMS has been impressive, but Legorve is just really good. Um, and of course, this is to 9. This is to 9. A 2-0 start does not guarantee anything, but it's not where you want to be if you're CRAMS. I don't think I have to explain why. Um, Unfortunately, there's something wrong with the win chance predictor. It's getting the wrong game, so I'm going to have to turn that off for this set at the very least, and we'll
That's
see.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
Hopefully it'll work for the next one.
yeah,
Because it is always interesting to see sort of what the algorithm thinks of the spy's win chance.
yeah. Give me one moment to remove that. There we are. Apologies, everyone. All right, let's, however, get on into the next one. We have Aquarium, and this is one of those venues I mentioned where skill plays a big role. um, Ignoring the whole shark walk shenaniganry, of course. I'm not gonna get that into that unless I have to.
Yeah, hopefully we won't be seeing that.
Unless Legorve or CRMs make me, I'm not gonna get into it. We have CRMs on the spy side playing as Bling Twin. And we can get that going in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Okay, well we're pursuing missions a little bit more aggressively this time, hunting down our ST even while we're walking and joining conversation together for the first flirt.
Yeah, that's a little bit better to start than our last game from CRMs. I don't want to see CRMs freeze up. I don't want to see like the Magnus or Kaylee or Legorve effect, where you know you're playing someone really strong, so you are hesitant to do anything aggressive, anything that might lose you the game. Legorve
Um,
safetying off onto
yeah,
some shark.
that's possibly. I don't know what to make of that.
Maybe it doesn't
Maybe
like
Legorve
Cowboy
dislikes
because
the.
that like Cowboy was behind the shark where the safeties off came, so Legorve perhaps. Maybe we should watch out for what Cowboy does.
Yeah, it's also possible that Legorve is trying to signal his displeasure of someone else, but yeah, I'm not sure what there is to dislike about text beyond perhaps a path. I wasn't watching that closely.
Yeah. Still only flirts here for C-Rams. We're a minute and a half into this, and we don't even finish it off there. 89% on this white flirt. This is going to start getting difficult really quickly.
It's not a terrible time for contact. I wouldn't mind us hop.
Legorve! Why are we highlight? This is so unfair.
Legorve highlighting. Oh, ooh, doing that path after we've been highlight is not going to make C Rams any. Yeah, that could be unfortunate for C
Any other day.
Rams if we've just gotten highlight and then took that slightly odd path.
Yeah, it kind of had the right idea because AIs often do kind of edge to the side very sharply when they enter a conversation, but it wasn't at the correct spot. And look at this now. Now the safety off behind Shark is at us, and
Mm-hmm.
CRMs does feel like a
Yeah,
dead spy
we have.
walking.
Yeah, C-Rams has 2 missions done and is already the only highlight in the party, and it already feels like C-Rams is just has no hope of finishing.
Yeah, it's not great. Low lights coming off onto others. We still even need 2 more missions. And all we have are the contact and seduce, kind of the stuff that you're expected to get without too much suspicion, and yet we're the top suspect in this party. Legorve just shoots. What? Maybe,
Might have been a
maybe.
fast.
Ah, okay. Here's what I think it is. Legorve was Legorve's certainty that this was the spy was higher than Legorve's certainty that Serums didn't have another mission, right? So it was trying to prevent shark walking because the shark was
Hmm.
coming,
Yeah,
and
okay.
so Legorve thought about it and was like, I'm so sure this is the spy that I am less sure about the fact that there is a that they did not get a bug. And if you think about it like that, this shot makes a lot of sense to deny
Yeah.
the shark walk.
I think that the timing on the action with regards to Toby was also slightly off, which is not
Ah,
something that you would necessarily notice, but Legorov knows his etiquette, he's aware of these things, and if he's already, say 80% sure that you're the spy, he's going to watch for every little tiny etiquette break that, everyone makes, and he's going to shoot you for them.
yeah, 5 seconds to respond to Toby here. Just too long. Legorv knows it and goes up 3-0. And it's going to be difficult, of course, at sniper side, right? But it is still Aquarium, which means that this could start getting really dicey for CRMs really, really quickly. We have Legorv on the spy side playing as Rocker. Let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And may I remind you that whoever wins this set, I have to play in semifinals, which I'm not happy about either way. Because if C-Rams wins, then
And it's
I
someone
have
who can beat Legorv, yeah, which is terrifying, frankly.
exactly a new player who can come in and just beat Legorv. That would be terrifying. But also, Legorv is terrifying, so I'm not happy about anyone winning this set. A bit of a bug there that could have been caught by CRMs from Legorv early on, but didn't take, but also wasn't caught, so no harm, no foul.
Legorv definitely being aggressive with the pathing, mostly behind Shark, so not much there to look at, even if the sniper
Some
had been
bug
looking for
opportunity
it. But
here, but we're not quite
yeah,
close enough. I think Legorve might have actually been hoping the ambassador pathed towards the back to get a bug, because Legorve left at the exact same time that the ambassador did, so that tells me that he was watching the
Mm-hmm.
ambassador's patience meter and left that conversation to give himself the opportunity for the ambassador to path towards bar or statues back there and get a bug during that intersection. Which is a very nice play, because if the ambassador doesn't path the way you want them to, it doesn't look all that suspicious. But if they do, you could get that really, really slick bug. So it's just
Banana bread.
a little thing that, you can do as spy to give yourself those odds. It doesn't really help Legorve here, but it could have.
Good contact. One low light taken. I think Disney was available. Both SDAs in. That's a very solid contact for Aquarium.
Yeah. Only one low light. It is Smallman, but Smallman on Aquarium isn't quite as strong as Smallman on other venues, just because of the high sniper angle. The crowd cover isn't as dangerous.
So we're going in for our flirt. Oh, flirt and bailing out from the
Interesting.
flirt at bar into statues to finish those off as well. We get highlight. I'm not sure if it's for bar or statues or catching the etiquette break. We shall have to see.
Yeah, if it was catching the etiquette break, then CRM should have this down to 2. And look at that, we do see CRM's checking to make sure that's not a swap. But Ambassador's behind Shark with people right now, and that could be dangerous. We still need one more mission for Legorve. I wouldn't be surprised to see some form of Shark Walk here with the Ambassador so near to Shark. Look at them. In the bottom conversation right now, if the Shark is not going to be middle Shark... Oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I...
I'm not sure what that's for.
I will say I'm fully expecting here at the end, because the shark is coming back across. Legorve is this shark comes back across the bottom. It's trivial to get this bug shark walk off. So I think Legorve was winning that regardless. But
So Alice had finished inspects. I'm curious what else CRAMs thought she might have done. Perhaps crediting a bug. It is Aquarium, and sometimes there are situations with characters behind the shark with the ambassador.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does appear. Let's see, what is Alice doing? She gets highlight before she ever. Let's see, when does she get highlight? I think highlight at bar never gets brought down, but does walk near the ambassador while the shark is there. So it makes sense. This shot makes a lot of sense for CRM. It's a
Yeah.
bit unfortunate. I think Legorve had it by via shark walk anyway, just because of where the ambassador was positioned for that shark. But it's not looking good for CRAMs again. It's to 9, so you got a lot more time to make this up, but Legorve's sniper is so good, and now Legorve has extra room to breathe, even, on sniper side. You could lose one and still be well on the driver's seat.
Yeah, I am definitely hoping that C-Rams gets an opportunity to show off his like the strength of the sniper that he's honed from dailies and that he's used to get this far in the competition. I'm hoping that C-Rams can at least get a couple sniper wins in here, but it definitely is looking a little dour.
Yes, indeed. We have CRAMs now on the spy side of Courtyard, one of those more sniper-favored venues, as you were talking about in that classic set. Playing as General in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Definitely seeking after our flirt a little more aggressively in this game. I'm glad to see that, since we definitely had some pacing problems on Veranda with not even okay.
Legorve just loves signaling random safety offs to us. Something about maybe perhaps Disney and Pearls, the way that they're flirting at statues while getting inspects. It's hard to say, actually. And Disney's gonna look even more suspicious right now because he was at statues while there was someone else at the same set of statues. So, as a spy, you actually can't get both of those inspects. So Disney going statue to statue is gonna make Legorve hate him even more. if CRAMS picks up on this, I would love to see like call Toby over green purloin for Disney and try to get that frame done. But it's
Oh,
look at this
okay. We're going in for statues. We're off
statues.
screen.
Legorve didn't
And
see us
ooh,
yet.
oh,
I think he
okay.
has
We're like
now.
sort of on screen. Okay.
Maybe
I think Legorve is aware, but
yeah.
perhaps trying to bait C-Rams into swapping?
Yes, that's actually my take here. It's a very nice take because um you could see that Legorv kind of had serums on screen, but then intentionally went all the way back around to try to bait out the swap. So good call there, Megaparsec. I think that is exactly what Legorv was doing. CRAMS, however, does not bite, goes for the print and the inspects, picks up the highlight for it, and continues on this game.
And the end of red.
White contact is well, it's not terrible in terms of low lights, but doing a white contact against Legorv when you've already done statues is
Ooh.
yeah.
I believe that this was for an animation break leaving conversation. Yep. Legorv is just gonna do that to you. And
Yeah. It's definitely rough because, Legorvin's someone who knows basically all of the etiquette that there is to know. And if you have attracted his attention to you while you are spying, he will definitely, shoot you for anything that breaks etiquette. But also, like, a lot of the times you need to do etiquette breaks in order to actually finish missions because he's also very capable of watching hard tells and shooting you for missions.
yeah, and this maybe is one of the things that we're seeing about CRAM's development, right? CRAM's has been doing daily sniping tons, right? That is where a lot of their experience comes from. But when you haven't played as much spy as you have sniper, perhaps there's issues with getting the animations correct, breaking those up, and Legorve is preying on that right now. Legorve up 5-0, going into the sixth game, playing as Hare or Oprah, whichever one you like to call, or Red Dress. We have a good note. Most of these characters we can have multiple names for.
Indeed.
Let's get that going in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Perhaps Legorv hoping that he could get a bug early on there, but the path of the Amba does not quite cooperate. Um, but I'm sure he'll find some other early progress, like this flirt. Indeed.
I think we were going to join that conversation, except then our ST was about to join next to us, and we want to get a bit of a reset on the flirt before, we stand next to her again. But now I believe we should be almost done with that flirt cooldown. Give it just a moment. Legorve probably waited just long enough that it makes sense. Yeah. See, this is a nice timing because we didn't wait at the window too long, but we also didn't have the cooldown done when we get into a conversation. But that kind of coincides with the amount of time you want to wait before speaking in a conversation anyway to look a little bit less spy-like. So it's a good decision by Legorve, good timing. Unfortunately, we don't hit that 2 green test.
Yeah, Legorv was somewhat upset about it, perhaps shaking his camera around a bit. Definitely hitting that two flirt is a very powerful thing in terms of your pacing. It frees you up to do missions more aggressively, to complete sooner, and perhaps with less suspicion.
Yeah, like, for example, we could have gone 20, 30 seconds ago to try to inspect, swap, and end this game really quickly if we had just gotten that 2 flirt. And that is one of the ways you can get a quick mission win on Courtyard. You do that swap when the sniper is not expecting it, kind of in the mid game, but you are actually already done with flirt and contact, and the sniper can never be too sure. But here it is.
Flirting before picking up statues is an interesting one. Legorv trusting that CRAMS isn't going to be suspicious of it because it does make the time before pickup slightly too long. It's a minor etiquette break, but Legorv is
It's
trusting that
legal.
he can get away with it.
It's
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will say that It has been studied, and it is legally long. It's not a break, but
Suspiciously
it's
long, then.
suspicious. Yeah, it can definitely be suspicious if you're watching for it. Because it's not common, and there is a reason that a spy might want to do that, right? So the intersection of something that is not very common, but there is a reason for the spy to do it, in terms of missions, that is where you get your suspicious activity.
Indeed. But we are down to 30 seconds, and we have the eternal courtyard question. What's the fourth mission? In this
Yeah,
case, it's going to be a green purloin. At least it's not, the classic white purloin and die.
that was on screen, and it's going to a low light who is taking. I think CRM's gonna get this one. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Good shot, good shot.
nicely done by CRAMs, getting onto the board at the very least here. It's 5-1 now, but at the very least, CRAMs can say I scored some points against Legorve, at minimum. And now we're on to Library, another sniper-favored venue, another big venue.
Yeah, C-Rams double, which is interesting. I'm wondering if C-Rams is regretting that at this point in the set, having doubled a venue that is, by conventional wisdom, likely to be split.
Yeah, and that it's not the best, unfortunately, for CRMs here, because Legorov gets 2 more sniper wins. Even if you just split it up, it'll still be 7-3. You're still just so far behind. You don't have any time to waste on getting back into the set. But Legorov sniper just so good, so CRM's got to find something to do here. Playing as Seek in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
What I would love to see is some really wild, aggressive plays. I know it can be tough to do that against Legorv when you know that your sniper is so good, but it's library, it's a 5 of 8 venue. You have to do something wild to win anyway. So it's like you might as well try something and see what happens. Unfortunately, it's spot for it right now since we're right next to the Amba. Not much we could get away with here, but
I think wildness against Legorv may be the wrong choice. Now, doing something and seeing what happens, always a fan. But Legorv is a bit behaviorally tuned to, noticing things that just are wild, or when a spy's just going for things. So I feel like he's more likely to catch that kind of thing than a lot of snipers.
Well, here's something. We red flirted our ST. I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but our ST did get a highlight for it, possibly for some kind of animation break. So framing on library is hard, but it does seem that we have, whether deliberately or inadvertently, distracted some attention away from ourselves and onto an AI.
Yeah, that is good, unless Legorv thinks about it. Because if Legorv really was sure that there was an animation break as Kane leaves there, you can narrow this party down significantly. To either Kane or anyone in conversation with Kane.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Legorv is taking aggressive highlights or lowlights about it, but it remains to be seen how much suspicion Legorv may have on Kane or the spy or anyone else in conversation.
Yeah, CRMs, and then now picking up the highlight. Look at that. It was so hidden, this highlight. Sometimes as a spy, you can feel when the sniper is watching you. You can feel when the sniper gives you that highlight. It's a very good skill to have, but the sniper also has the option to give it silently, to give it sneakily, just like the Gorb did there.
And unfortunately, we did do that interesting play with the red flirt, but it does mean that we have no flirt progress and no progress of any other kind. So this is another slow game, and that is not particularly likely to work against Legorv. Legorv is not a jumpy sniper. He's going to hold if he thinks no one's done with missions.
Yeah, and we're already a highlight and we haven't done anything yet. It just feels so bad. CRAMs in a tough spot here. Of course, you're always in a tough spot on Spy, particularly against Legorv Sniper, but this is an especially bad spot.
Yeah, CRAMs, if we're going to finish missions, we likely need a time ad. Now, we probably get shot for the time ad, whether we know that or not, but CRAMs does not seem to have been sort of thinking about pacing in that way, thinking about getting a time ad in the middle of the game to mitigate problems with pacing and mission progress. So we will see how this goes. Oh, okay. We're doing a pillar play.
Oh, hello. We are nicely hidden behind this pillar here. We're sticking out just a little bit. I think CRM's trying to adjust to make sure that doesn't happen. But there is a very slight sliver of highlight. And that, actually, we wouldn't be sticking
Okay,
out, and
yep.
we wouldn't be sticking out if we weren't highlight.
That is entertaining. So we are trying to purloin behind pillar, but this is a
There's no
very
one
long
around.
request
Oh
that
no.
oh yeah, that's
We were seen leaving. Because Toby's still walking over to us, and then Irish just leaves, and it makes no sense anymore that Toby's walking over, and Legorve just sees us exit, and knows knows who the spy is.
I
Oh,
like the
that's
attempt. I always love to see those sort of odd plays, these sort of playing on some of the occlusion that exists in library, but unfortunate timing with Toby way on the other side of the venue, making it quite obvious to anyone who's paying attention to Purloin that something weird is going on.
yeah, and that means it's now 6-1 to Legorve. We have the next game, Legorve on the spy side. We'll see if CRMs can stem the bleeding as they did on Courtyard already. But Legorve has Kane, one of the better bugs in the game, particularly the walking bug. So maybe we'll see one of those this game. Let's get it moving in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Legorve
Okay.
aggressively adding time here.
Yeah. Ooh,
Twice.
very aggressively. Oh, noob
Thrice.
special. Time ad until you hit a white test or until you decide you've had enough.
Oh,
Hmm.
that's
If
so...
these aren't caught, this is going to be a much easier game for Legorv than you might normally expect from a library spy game.
Yeah, we were talking about Legorve being aggressive and doing things early, and maybe this is where Legorve says, I want this to pay off now. I want the fact that I've been doing things to pay off for me. I'm going to make this game really long, and the thing is, if you're CRAMs, you have no way of knowing that the clock has this much time on it, because all of those were green, so all you know is, this clock is slowed down a bit. We don't know actually how many time adds have happened, because there could be any number of greens in there, technically speaking.
Yeah, and it can be really devastating to notice that, say, 45 minutes into the time ad and be like, that clock doesn't feel quite right. How long is this game going to be?
And this is something that I love to see from spies is just putting pressure on the sniper. That is what you want to be doing pretty much no matter what your style is, how you're playing, what you want to do in any specific game. The best way to win a game of Spy Party is to put pressure on the sniper, and even though we haven't done anything yet, not a single flirt, nothing, no missions, this is pressure incarnate, especially with how the set's going so far.
Yeah. Sniping library can be exhausting at the best of times, and when you've got an extra, you know,
2 minutes
some
25.
2 minutes 25, thank you. 2 minutes 25 on the clock. Nearly, 1.5 the normal times of library. It's very tiring, and that's going to really make it hard to keep your cool, to not shoot people that get inspects or prints in that extra time.
Yeah, it's just. I feel bad for CRMs because I've been in game. I've played sniper games like this, and it's just so exhausting because when you are another thing that happens when you're sniping is if the spy is not doing anything, and the party's being kind of active, but not active enough that you feel like you have any strong suspects. It just feels like the spy is getting away with things. I don't know about you, but that's just my feeling whenever I suddenly start having these
Yeah, we
long
have a
games.
deep zoom on Smallman there, checking if there was a swap. Perhaps either aware of the time ad or just
Banana
feeling
red.
like there is something going on. Smallman's talking for this BB. I wonder if that's going to play into CRAM's thinking later on.
Yeah, and we are a bit below starting time, actually, finally. uh, but it's still so much time on this clock. We should basically be almost done with this game already, in terms of starting time. We should be under a minute left on this clock.
Legorve's still light on progress, but as we've noted, he's still perfectly on pace because of all that extra time on the clock. And, it does mean that he's completing his missions without gathering any suspicion at all, hopefully.
We might be able to get a bug here, like a wrong arm bug away from the ambassador, as CRM is watching the other side of the venue. We could have just taken that, but maybe Legorve didn't want to risk it. That is something that can happen when you're playing with these time adages. You don't want to give your opponent an out, right? Even if you might normally take a bug, maybe you just say, I value the fact that my sniper is going to be going for a long time and getting more and more tired as this game goes on, more than I value this opportunity for a bug.
Looks like Legorve is waiting for the timer. Oh, no, he is going for this difficult print on blue, picking up quickly to make sure he gets it, and hits
Nice.
the green. Excellent.
He has
Yeah,
been hitting those
fingerprint
greens.
is an excellent thing to go for when you have this much time on the clock,
Well, we
because
actually are
with this,
down below 2 minutes now. Finally, the slowdown on the clock is worn off.
yeah, with this much extra time, you'll have lots of time to look for prints, particularly prints on statues, so you can complete multiple missions at once. And
And
and there's a shot.
the pressure gets to see RAMS. We're already 45 seconds past the game, supposed to have been ending, and we still have another 1:30 on the clock, and it's finally too much for CRAMs, and honestly, I don't blame them.
Yeah, Twin had just finished center inspects, and I believe had been sort of stared down earlier, perhaps for a path to one of the side pads. So yeah, with that pressure coming in, CRAM's feeling that he has to take the shot.
Yeah, it's just brutal. And, I mean, it's now 7-1 to Legorve. And, that's... It's not super fun to be in this spot, if you are CRAMs, because you just sniped a ridiculously long game. You just misshot a Civ, so you didn't even win it after all that effort, and you're down in the set. I feel bad, but Legorve is just showing his class here. We do have CRAMs playing as Duke on an Arcs game in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Green Tess has been hitting mostly. White Tess on those flirts, which is always a little tight on the pacing. But, we've got something, and we're not even sticking around to timer flirt, which is probably a good thing for the pacing as well. Potential opportunity for a purloin here. Hope he's not been watched for a while.
Yeah, I mean, Legorve, of all the things he does watch, sometimes Purloin isn't one of them. OTBAP is a meme for a reason.
Yeah, Smallman did take a drink, so wasn't as good as I wasn't a chain coming up to us, so probably a good idea that we didn't. Legorve would at least have been able to narrow it down to the conversation,
Banana bread.
likely.
Yes, indeed. Lots of lowlights here for Legorve. 5 on that contact. We do get the mission progress, though.
And I think most of the conversation, I believe all the conversations had real, which is also important. It can always be terrible if, if you end up with only a few conversations with real. And if this convo had been one of the only ones with real, that's a few solid highlights that Legorve can take and watch for the rest of the game for things like etiquette.
Yeah. Again, playing such a slow game here from CRMs. Going for this again. It's interesting idea because we already got caught for it once. Do you feel like the cat's in the bag a little bit? And CRM's really trying to get this done. I mean, we're in less of a bad spot than we were last time trying to get this because we're not a big suspect already. But what is this? What is this safetying off?
I'm just going to stop trying to make meaning out of Legorve's safety offs, except that something is going on in Legorve's head.
We do finally take the request here. This is...
Okay, Legorve isn't quite watching it go over to the corner, but...
Oh, look at that. We try to frame a crash? Is that what happened here?
Possibly.
I
That's
think,
a really interesting
Legorve,
play, but we're so dead. Legorve's just waiting for us to come out so we can get a clean shot.
And this is kind of the problem with going for it again, because the sniper saw it once. The sniper's gonna think back to it again. It's just... not working out for our CRAMs here.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
And now it is 8-1 in favor of Legorve.
I have to say that the framing a crash play is a really interesting one. I'm not sure. I think I have seen it once or twice in competitive games, but it is an uncommon one. And combined with doing it behind the pillar, so you're theoretically invisible, I think it's a really interesting idea, and it's perhaps slightly unfortunate that we got caught for something similar last Spy game.
Yeah, it is unfortunate indeed. Rough times here for CRAMs against Legorve.
Yeah, Legorve on match point now.
And
now
we
it's
got a
spying
few of
on
those.
library, which, theoretically is hard, but also Legorve has shown that he can be very good at spy play and is absolutely capable of getting this win here.
Yeah. Legorve playing as Bling. Possibly the last game in this set. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Pretty slow start. No big time ad starts this time. But CRMs probably have to be worried about that now. Red flirts wheels away.
Oh, you can flirt here.
Yeah.
I was honestly unaware that you could flirt from across the multiple green pads. That is intriguing.
Yeah, they do count as the same pad for flirt. It's like statue pads in that sense. It's just the distance.
Yeah, it makes sense, but I don't think I've ever seen it before. Ooh, okay, and now we're flirting at statue pads here. Interesting. So Legorve definitely aggressive with his flirt since he hasn't been punished for it yet. I think that's the right call.
Yes, indeed. We also have RST sliding into conversation right next to where we are, so Legorve's going to dip in, try to get that last flirt. There it is, 100%. 2 green flirt.
Ooh, and we're potentially lining up for a purloin as well, although if Disney takes, we might change our mind.
No, we go for it. It's green.
We're going for it, and hits his green tests. Legorve definitely showing off his green test rate at the moment. And, the last time that Legorve hit a green purloin. He did get shot for it, but that was only because there was absolutely no chain, and there is a chain now.
Yeah, chain. He was already a big suspect. It's Courtyard 4 of 7.
True, yes.
That's just a hard time to get away with
In the
purloin.
last 30 seconds, no less. But this chain is substantially better, even if it's going to an SDA now.
We go statue to statue, and this chain just keeps going. It's gonna go Irish. It's gonna
Oh
go to
boy,
Irish.
Legorve is rushing. We
I
have a swap pending, and we're finishing inspect. We just need to. Okay, the purloin is finally taken, but I don't know if
Irish
C-Rams is
has
on
been
top
to
of this
center
chain at
statues.
all. Yes. Oh. Okay, it's definitely noticed now, but I'm not sure if C-Rams has any idea who took it or who could have been in the
We're gonna go
chain.
for a bug here. We are. It's a bug on the way through. A silent game, middle game rush here. It's so hard. 10 seconds to find this shot, and C-Rams doesn't appear to be
Yeah.
looking for the swap. Oh, it's so brutal.
Yeah.
Still, just
That's a gorgeous game. And it's a very strong way to close out the set. It's just a little unfortunate. I wish it would have been nice to see C-Rams get a bit more of a showing, but winning one game against the Gorv is honestly not nothing. And also, like, making it to the quarterfinals in your first tournament is huge.
yeah. It is very impressive by C-Rams, and I'm honestly super excited to see more from them as these tournaments keep on rolling.